The Complacency Thief. Sitting on the plane after takeoff, I turned to Patricia. Patricia, how did you learn those techniques? You're clever and good at what you do, but how did you find out how to do things that way? Patricia smiled. Are you asking me if I've ever failed? I suppose I am. I started with this company right after I finished my degree in business administration. The owner hired me because he saw something he liked. It couldn't be my marks. I was just a middle-of-the-road student at the best of times. In fact, I just qualified to get into university by the skin of my teeth after high school. So I'm not really all that clever. I'm just average at best. I'm not too sure I believe that. Oh, believe it. The only courses I did well in were those that required a maximum of bullshit or sticking to a very limited set of actions. In particular, accounting and marketing. I could write a good report, as long as I didn't have to prove the thesis I started with. That's being a master of bullshit. My own degree was in business administration with majors in marketing and management, so I totally understand what you mean. I don't mean marketing is bullshit in a nasty way. It is mostly selling an idea, which might or might not be a good one. It's about promoting the idea, so it becomes the only choice. Once you can do that, marketing becomes routine. And accounting is about knowing how to capture the numbers so that they look good on paper. And those were my best subjects. The point is, I was not particularly clever the way some people in my classes were. I did my degree part-time, so marks and such were not important. Getting the credit for the course mattered a lot to me, I put in. And I wasn't implying disagreement about the bullshit in marketing. I agree with you. Bullshit baffles brains every day of the week. Anyway, my boss, despite having lots of people to choose from, picked me. For a year, more or less, my job was simply to support the salespeople. Write their reports, make sure they filled their expense claims, and keep the league tables up to date. League tables? Record how much each of the salespeople managed to sell in a month and hence in a year. They got bonuses if they passed their targets, and a further set of bonuses if they were in the top 3. It was boring, I'll bet. Then the sales manager had this bright idea. I was to go out and do some sales calls. And you can imagine how badly I did. I lost us 5 accounts in the first month, and 8 in the second. The third month was going just as badly, and I was sure I'd be fired when I got called to the boss's office. Losing those accounts could not have been just your fault. That's what the boss pointed out after he asked if I wanted to quit. I almost said yes to that question, but I knew I'd have a tough time finding a job that year. I had friends from university who were still unemployed more than a year after graduation, and most of them had done really well in the classes. Even more, I wanted to prove I was as good as anybody in sales and marketing. So you said you didn't want to quit? Yes. So that's when the boss told me that he'd asked Stuart, the sales manager, to get me calling on accounts that were sure to be lost. He wanted me to feel like a failure. I might not have been top of my class in school or university, but I had never failed before. Ouch! My deciding to stay on, he said, meant that I was willing to face up to failing. Sales were about being able to continue selling after 100 or more no's and not stop. His view, when people were too successful, they were just setting themselves up for disaster when they finally fail. That's for sure. I know too many people who seem to be successful so easily, but when they eventually face disaster, they just crumbled. Wise man, your boss. Yes, he is. The way he puts it, we have to learn how to lose before we can start to learn how to win. And we can learn more from our losses than we ever do from our wins. That's how Peter taught his grandchildren to play chess. He never gave them an easy time and played to win in every game. I just realized that's another one of your thieves. Success makes us complacent. We stop looking for the win because we expect to win. We stop learning all the ways we can lose, and we lose because there is something we didn't prepare for, didn't plan for, and forgot to perform for. As we flew on, I wondered if I had become complacent with my presentations and meetings. Did my past success rob me of the ambition and energy to move forward and make things happen? What lessons had I taken from my failures, and how was I ensuring that I stopped repeating the same mistakes?